Now, we're talking about pushing back against a culture and a society that is offering us lies and deception and terrible culture, regressive cultural trends. One of the things that a lot of Australians are concerned about is Islam in Australia. So it disappointed me heaps. And I know you got just a great Australian sense of humour and you're provoking people to make a point. But nevertheless, it was disappointing to see you asking for as many halal certified Cadbury flakes as possible. Now, start off by telling me what's the point you're trying to make by asking people to send you 1,000 items of those things?
First up, I want to look down the script, straight down the camera and say, send me flakes. What happened was...
Send him lint and Daryl Lee.
What happened was, it was a random... Because at the end of my morning news wrap, I put a fact of the day.
Yep.
I randomly put once, like a couple of weeks ago, fact of the day, flakes are my favourite chocolate.
Yeah.
Right? There was no... Like, I didn't even think about the halal thing. It just wasn't even an issue. Yep. Right? It was just an innocent... Me being a bit weird, rather than doing a normal fact of the day, flakes are my favourite chocolate.
Yeah, instead of some biological, chemical, trivial fact of history.
Whatever. Anyway, so I was amazed at what the debate that raged. In fact, it wasn't even a debate. The criticism that raged on my Facebook page because I would dare to fund terrorism. Yeah. Again, it's about that having that articulate opinion, right? So I wrote a blog. First up, I wrote a blog. Okay, what is a Christian's response to the halal certification? Yeah. And, there's a scripture in the Bible that says, it's in Romans, that says, if a food is going to be sacrificed to an idol, idols aren't real, so the food doesn't change, so you can eat the food, basically, is the summary. So to me, I go, I can eat a flake. Biblically, I can eat a flake, and I'm not offending God.
You're not worshipping an idol.
Yeah, so we're all good. Okay, so that number one. Secondly, then, so then I said so I wrote that, and then I got even more criticism because I'm funding terrorism.
Yep.
So then I actually thought, okay, let's talk about this. Are we really funding terrorism by eating a chocolate?
Yep.
Okay, now I'll get into Islam in a minute, but I'm talking about funding terrorism because that was the main thing that raged.
That was the objection.
So I then read a parliamentary inquiry into halal certification. I read papers from the Australian anti-terrorism and anti-money laundering. I read them all, a whole stack. And there is no definitive link between halal certification and the funding of terrorism. Yeah. That ASIO, Federal Parliament, all that, nobody can find a definitive link. But a lot of Christians on my page obviously know the evidence. Yeah. So then I said to them, okay, give me a link. Show me. Have you got special Google powers or?
But you're asking for a direct link.
Well, because that's what everybody was saying. Yeah. Okay. Because it wasn't. They fund. The halal certification funds mosques. Mosques are radicalised extremists. Extremists can become terrorists. So therefore, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here's the link. Yeah. So all I was saying was just show me a link because everybody was so passionate about it. Okay. Because it wasn't just a couple, and it wasn't just hey Pete, probably not as wise to do. It was so passionate.
Yeah.
That's my frustration, and because there is no link.
So this links back to the first segment, because what we're both passionate about is people being not just involved, but informed. And when we're pushing back in culture, it's not just good enough to rage and quote scripture. We actually have to be credible.
And that's my point. Now, when it comes to the Islam pushing into Australia, we need to push back on that. Yep. Sharia law, and just last week they announced that in New South Wales they're going to have a separate Muslim-only cemetery. There's also touted a mega city in Queensland somewhere that's going to be Muslims only. And as Australians, I love Australia. We talked about my flag and how patriotic I am for Australia. So I love Australia, and I hate the way that we as the West are capitulating to Islam. Yep. I wrote some articles about the Manchester bombing, and my question was, when is the West going to have its Pearl Harbor? Yep. right? So I'm not pro-Islam and I'm not soft on Islam. I did a master's degree where I specialised in Islam and poverty eradication. So I know Islam. I know how Islam treats women. Yeah. But the halal certification thing, it really ultimately wasn't even about the flakes. It's not even about halal certification. For me, it was just a frustration that everybody raged about something, and everybody was so passionate, but nobody could actually prove the evidence for their passion. And that's where I go, okay, from having an articulated opinion, or well-articulated or well-informed opinion, if we're going to step up as Christians and into social dialogue, we've got to know what we're talking about. That's right. Yeah. And we can't just make these statements and even just quote scripture. Right. We have to be able to unpack scripture. Yeah. We have to unpack the context of that scripture. And if we're going to go to war over halal certification, then we've got to know that there is a direct link. Now, I do know halal certification funds mosques, funds Islamic schools, and that's not a positive. So on that, you and I agree. That is more than enough. I actually don't care if there's a direct link to funding terrorism. I'm convinced on the balance of probabilities that money that Australian consumers invest into general products goes to companies, which goes to certification companies, which goes to those schools and mosques, which then goes overseas where we cannot trace it any further. We just can't get a forensic audit of the mosques in Saudi Arabia. It's never going to happen. But the balance of probabilities is there's no doubt that mosques and schools overseas, maybe not the same ones, but they do fund terrorism. It's in fact one of the main sources of networking and funding for terrorism. And Islamic terrorism, and in fact Islamic culture generally, is the worst perpetrator of violence against Christians, the most persecuted people group around the world. That there's an indirect link, for me, makes it reprehensible that an Australian company would assume there's no harm to fundraising on behalf of that ideology out of my pocket. Forget it. I'm not buying your rubbish. I don't care how good it is. I'm just going to... Here's the thing. It's easy to change brands. It's not like I have to give up my second child. The problem is, right, it's not that easy. Because, yes, you can have Lindt chocolate or Cadbury chocolate, and it's not halal certified, but there's so much halal certification. It's very hard to just eat normal food and have it not be tinged with the halal certification. And that's the challenge. And we certainly need to push back. But the broader issue for me... Let
me just take you up on that point before you go on. Come back to your broader issue. Because I disagree. It is simple. We don't have to universally expunge every item in our fridge and pantry of halal certified food. I think the model in Scripture is very useful. Is if you know, then avoid it. If you don't know, then just enjoy it. But I know Cadbury is halal certified. I'm not going to buy Cadbury when I can just change brands. I love Lindt, I love Darrell Lea. There's plenty of other good chocolate I can buy, and I can reduce and have an impact on the amount of halal certified foods that I'm eating. Here's the important part. Okay. Here's the powerful part of that simple behaviour. Even though it's not universal, and it's the same deal with Qantas versus Jetstar. Yeah, Richard Branson's in favour, but Cadbury and Qantas are both leaders in the cultural war. They're significant moments that we can win that battle and affect the whole war without need. It's like dropping the bomb on Hiroshima. No, did it kill everybody that was, fighting against freedom? No, but that really sent a powerful message that we can hurt your company. So we will hurt the bottom line, the profits of the shareholders and the job performance of the CEO and the board. If you continue to ignore us, you want to cater to the 2% of your market
but if you
that wants halal certified?
If you stop buying flakes, but don't actually tell Cadbury's.
Agreed. So, well, it's better if you do both, but it's powerful. If every Christian in Australia and every freedom lover in Australia said, look, we don't want to fundraise for Islam, they can do what they want. They can even have halal food. It's the profit from the certification which promotes this anti-Australian culture that is the problem. Muslims, no problem. Islam, big problem. We don't want to fundraise for that ideology at all to the best of our knowledge. Are we going to bust a gut stressing over what's in our cupboard? No. But we know you're Halal certified. So you're not going to get any more of our money until you're not. That's powerful. That changes things. And so it's the same thing. Do you fly Qantas or Virgin? Will you fly Virgin? They're both supporting homosexual marriage, but Qantas is shoving it in our face.
So then we should talk about the role of corporate Australia in fashion and culture, and should that be a thing? We've got corporate leaders like Joyce, CEO of Qantas, outwardly very much promoting gay marriage. Is that the role of corporate Australia?
No, it's not. But what we can't do is sick government onto them. We don't want government to restrict their free speech. Absolutely, the corporation should have the freedom to offend all of its customers. That's absolutely their role. The free market should punish them. The Christians should figure out that we are powerful with consumer activism and say, you want to lead the charge to fight against my values, call me a bigot, call me intolerant, call me homophobic, fine, I'll fly Virgin. I know they share your values, but they're not shoving it in my face. So you lose my money.
It would be very interesting, going back to the flake issue, how many people of the however many raged on my social media pages, raged against me liking flake. How many actually are passionate enough about it to do what you're suggesting?
Yeah.
Because again, that's my frustration.
Yes.
Because it's very easy to be a keyboard warrior, but actually do nothing about it.
That's right.
And so, because it's like, and this is another frustration of mine, you get hey, if you're against something like this Facebook page, like, and we then think, hang on, we're activists. Whereas in the old days, you'd go out and you'd protest and you'd actually get out and do something.
Yeah, not conservatives or Christians.
These days, we just like something. In fact, I wrote a blog recently on why I'm a digital atheist. Because I hate the whole thing of, if you really love Jesus, you'll share this on your Facebook page. And then you kind of go, well, hang on, if I don't share it, does Jesus say, if you believe in the power of prayer, retweet this. Yeah. And so in the end, I just said, you know what, I'm a digital atheist. Okay, when it comes, there's not a digital Jesus, and don't try and manipulate my spirituality.
That's right. Yeah.
So it comes back to that activism. And again, my original point was, if you're going to rage about halal, the certification as a Christian, one, find out about it, and then two, if you're so passionate about it, then go and do what you're suggesting. And
so let's wrap up this segment with, I guess, what we both really, really strongly agree on. We want to promote to everybody. Have an opinion.
Yep.
Now start sharing it.
Have a well-informed opinion.
Research it.
Yep.
If somebody challenges you, don't go off the deep end. Just remember, they're probably trying to be sincere in their beliefs. Give them the benefit of the doubt and just be nice to them. Talk to them like they're in front of you. Never lose your cool. Never rage on anybody. That's not going to persuade anybody.
And you know what? I don't know how much time we've got, but one of the big arguments with social media, one of the big issues with social media, how quickly it descends into personal. Yeah. Name calling, insults. You're insulting your faith. You're insulting. You're a bigot. If you're going to debate, then keep the debate the main thing.
Yes. While we're on it, never name and shame a Christian leader or a church denomination.
Absolutely.
If you want to correct false teaching, teach right.
Yes.
That's it. You don't need to shame or embarrass anybody. Just share truth.
Yeah.
Explain it with grace and with logic and with evidence and data. If you're talking to a non-Christian, Scripture is useless. Scripture references it. You can't. Leviticus says doesn't persuade anybody. We have to have fact-based answers when people have fact-based questions. Faith-based answers don't answer fact-based questions.
If you don't believe in the Bible, quoting the Bible to a person who doesn't believe in the Bible just does nothing.
Okay, so what we're saying is, by all means, spread the message that we should boycott halal certification, but argue it well. Don't involve anger. Don't insult people's intelligence or faith or character. Just bring out the facts and the evidence, and you might not win at that time, but you might contribute to a balance of information that they get over time, which does persuade them.
Yep.
And and then take it beyond just a public commentary. Public commentary is definitely a level that a lot of people need to go to if they're not already. But then take it into actual communication. Communicate to other, not just your Facebook channel, but maybe on the media pages, letters to the editor, talkback radio, and to the companies themselves.
Definitely.
To the companies themselves. And when it comes campaign time, election time, communicate to candidates what it is that you will vote for. It might not be halal, it might be something to do with a social issue, poverty or immigration, education, marriage, whatever. You actually need to tell them how they're going to represent you.
Yep.
And how they're going to, just like a corporation, lose your business if they don't. And that kind of action added to the words will actually start effectively changing culture, as long as we do it with credibility and continue to try and be as influential as we can.
Yeah, and ultimately, we as Christians, we've got to be motivated by love. It's about honouring people and loving people. We're here to talk about Jesus Christ because we love people and we want them to come to a saving knowledge of Jesus Christ.
Yep, that's exactly right. And there's nothing that will help that eventuality more than a cultural context that welcomes truth.
Yeah.
And that's something that we are working towards, even when we don't have a little fish symbol on our memes, or we don't need to be overt about it to be working towards that end.
Yep.
The Good Samaritan didn't evangelize, but he nevertheless perfectly demonstrated that commandment of loving your neighbour.
Well, we could get into, Good Samaritan is one of my favourite scriptures. Obviously, as National Chairman National Director of Global Care, it's a justice organisation, but it's a kindness movement. Yeah. And I think that kindness is an underrated tool of Christians for evangelism.
Let's pick this up. This is we can make a whole segment out of this, so let's do that. Next segment,
Great.
The Good Samaritan. Thanks for watching. If you really enjoyed that video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Have a look at this great video next, and check out the website for even more interesting articles and episodes later.